Hi everyone, this is Adrian Pangilinan again, and welcome back to Supremacy, where we talk about all things unapologetic, all things passion, and in pursuit of. And we made it to episode 7, y'all. Can you believe it? We made it to episode 7. And for today, we have my loveliest friend of them all, Miss Victoria Matthews. Welcome her, everyone. Let's welcome her.
Hey.
How are you doing?
I am doing really well. I'm happy to be alive, happy to
Yes.
be, just reaching for goals and accomplishing some things. So I'm good.
Yes, thank you. And of course first of all, without a doubt, I wanted you to be a part of this inaugural, podcast show that I'm doing. And second, because we have been this is not the first time I've reached out to her. I was like, I think maybe like 2 years ago or even last year,
Yeah.
2019. I think around the time that you came out with your single Anchored, which I
Mm-hmm.
can't wait to talk to you about. I was like, Victoria, let's do a collab on my channel.
Yeah,
But it wasn't at all like this. It was just gonna be like you teaching me how to sing, which I still feel like I'm interested in, even
definitely.
though we're in this format. But before we continue, I actually just wanted to read her bio. If I can find it. Hold on. Sorry.
Like, it's okay.
Okay. Oh no, I mean this is the 7th episode and I've never I've never been shy about like I'm gonna read off my phone because I can and I will.
Hello, it's 2021. Like, that's what we do anyway.
Yeah. So according to Victoria Matthews' website, which is at victoriaglobal.org, her statement says she is called to love, and her vision says to use all the gifts God has given me to express the life of Jesus, bring heaven to earth, and influence others to do the same, which is actually. It definitely resonates with how I've always known our friend Victoria here
Mm.
since we were young.
Yeah.
Like we've known each other for a while now, right? Like more than 10 years,
More,
at least
definitely
more
more.
more than a decade, because 10 years ago, about 10 years ago when this comes out in February,
Uh-huh.
like what I said earlier, it would have been 10 years exactly since you performed. You were part of my senior dance
Yes.
capstone piece, which was called Ambiance, which is about moving forward in life. And oh my
Yes.
goodness,
Which
10 years
I
ago.
loved being a part of that because, to be honest, like, I felt so honored to be a part of your senior capstone project because I'm a dancer, but not an amazing dancer.
Yeah,
That's like
yeah,
that's
yes, you are. That's why I chose you. That's why I chose every single one of y'all.
why.
So,
Thank you very much. But I sing better than I dance.
um, and actually, I guess I can say the same, but the other way. Oh, shoot, the other way around. Okay, so let me just read a little bit about Victoria's bio over here. So Victoria Matthews was born and raised in San Diego, California. She grew up in a life of ministry with a musically gifted family and has committed her life to the ministry of the gospel since she was a child. This petite powerhouse is known for her powerful, prophetic voice, raw passion for God, childlike faith, and confidence in His presence. Amen to that. She is
Amen.
part of the Open Door Family Worship Center, where her parents, Pastor Charles and Dr. Gwen Matthews, are the shepherds.
Hmm.
So Victoria Matthews graduated from San Diego School of Creative Performing Arts as a vocal arts major, which is where we went together.
Yep.
Then pursued formal education in classical voice and psychology at Point Loma Nazarene University, completing her studies at Oral Roberts University. And then just to read a little bit more, Victoria has become known for her versatility in various aspects of entertainment, from soul-stirring Christian music to R&B, musical theater, jazz, and classical genres. She shines whenever she has an audience, and that's all true.
Oh, thanks,
Beautifully
Adrian.
said. You're welcome. How are you again today? How are you? How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Because I'm in Oklahoma now, so
Oh yes,
it's
yeah.
evening. So I'm pretty much, the day has come to its calm hours. So I'm
Mhm.
doing good. I'm feeling hopeful, and I can't complain. I'm glad to be alive. I feel like this is a good time to be alive.
Yes. And what a time to be alive too.
Right.
So
there's some there's some things going on, but I say, look, if you're alive right
Yeah.
now, you're meant to be alive right now. So,
Yes, thank you.
yeah.
Which is really why I wanted to bring her on, because with everything that's been happening to the world, I was like, I needed to bring someone that can definitely be a great reminder and vessel for all of us to really see the beauty and the blessings of our lives, and in all
Yeah.
transparency, no matter what your faith is,
Right.
because at the end of the day, we all have this commonality of being alive.
Yeah.
And no matter how you decide to interpret that,
hmm
it's yeah.
It's a
So
gift.
thank you. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a gift, basically.
Yeah.
It's universal.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
totally is. It totally is a gift that, each of us, whatever we make out of it is our choice,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And so I just choose to live mine shining light, especially in
And you
with
and you've always had, like, I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm sorry to, like,
No, go
cut you
ahead.
off just for a little bit, but I agree, because ever since I've known her, I think this was maybe like my sophomore year, so this was like 2008, I remember. But I've seen you way before that. I was like, who? I was like, oh my goodness, there's this talented little girl, and I was just like, in the back of my mind, I've always known that if I ever, like, got the chance to be friends with her, I would be so happy. And I'm so thankful that I was like, I'm gonna make that happen. I did. I know. I'm really serious. I wanted to be your friend, and and I think, and I think by the time we did do our capstone, or my capstone, you performed in my capstone. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm picking you because you were so fit for the story and what I wanted to say.
Oh,
So
Adrian, I am just so thankful that we became friends, and I'm always just like, every time I see everything, even things you post, we don't necessarily talk all the time, but when we do, it's always just light, love, inspiring each other, encouraging each other, and I love your passion, your zeal for life, and everything you post. I'm like, you better get it. You better go.
Likewise. Oh, likewise. Yeah. It's funny because now I'm like, what happened to that zeal? But it's okay. This is why we're doing this. This is why I'm doing this project, because I was like, I know I can't be the only one struggling here right now. The only one longing for connection, for some sense of belonging, and also wanting to be seen and to be heard. So then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna put this together. I'm gonna bring the right people, and here we are. Yes. So without further ado, actually, that was a very long-winded intro. Sorry. But seriously, I haven't seen you in person, or even like as like face to face. We haven't seen each other probably since maybe once after I graduated, but even then, like 2011, it's been like literally 10 years since we've last like spoken like this. I think what you're seeing, what you're catching is like, 10 years. It's so crazy. 10 years. 10 years.
Oh my goodness, don't say it anymore.
So funny.
That's a really long time.
Oh, yes, it's a long time, but anyway, I'm just super thankful that we have managed to keep our like what you said, our zeal for life, our zest. I'll say zest. Love it. Okay, so before we actually get started with the main interview, I usually love to start with icebreaker questions, and there are about 5 of them. And are you ready, or are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, so my first question for you is 5 facts about you that people normally wouldn't know from meeting you for the first time.
Okay. Let's see. 1, I actually am very introverted, but people who see me in public would not know that. Because if I'm in public, I try to do my best to like engage with people. I don't always do it well, but anyway, that's 1. Number 2 is I absolutely love horses.
Oh.
I do. I fell in love with horses this year in 2020, actually, or last year, 2020. I would go horseback riding every Wednesday.
Wow.
And so I just love horses. 3 is I can cook my behind off. Okay? Ooh. In the kitchen, I don't play around.
I'm not surprised at all.
Oh, more things, Adrian. Let's see. Fourth, um, gosh, okay, I couldn't always sing very well.
Mm. Mm.
So that I grew into, but I wasn't always a great singer. But my first love was dancing.
Wow.
Yes, that was my first love.
Mine was the opposite.
Really?
I sang first.
Wow.
I sang first, and I was like, I had some like formal classical training when I was like young, and then puberty happened, and I was like, oh, okay, goodbye to that. So then I transitioned to dance. But
got you.
Yeah. What's your last one?
My last one would be, I absolutely love children, and it's like to the point where I can't control it. Like, I think children are my favorite people on the planet.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I so see that. I am not everything you've said. I'm actually not at all surprised.
Oh,
okay.
Dang! Like, I'm supposed to be shocking.
Well, actually, I think the only one that was really shocking for me was really like out of all of them was you being an introvert.
Okay.
Because I'm an introvert too. But I do feel like there is a threshold for people who are introverts that like just with the right opportunity and the right people, we get super like you know, we're super, super chirpy, and then like after that we're like bye, not bye, but I'm like
right, exactly. I'm glad you get it because I feel the same way.
Yeah. Okay, so my next question is coffee or tea?
Coffee.
What's your favorite or favorite flavor?
Right
taste?
Now, my favorite is a lavender latte.
Oh my goodness!
Yes, lavender. My goodness.
I think I've only tried lavender once, but it was like a lavender boba milk tea.
Okay.
I really actually really enjoy the very like fragrancy taste to it. Yeah. Which I almost could not pronounce. I was like
it's okay. Like, it came out.
Yeah. Okay, next question. Morning or evening person?
Ooh. That's hard. For me, it really kind of depends. Yeah, that's hard. I kind of go between both. I'll say morning.
Morning, okay. What time do you usually wake up?
Somewhere around 7.
Oh, 7, okay. What time do you go to sleep normally?
It varies.
What's the latest? What's the latest you've fallen asleep?
Recently, like
midnight?
like 2 o'clock.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That kind of sounds like where I'm at too. Like,
yeah,
I'm not necessarily a morning person nor an evening person. Like, meaning like I don't necessarily wake up early or like stay up or like can stay too late. But I do feel like I end up like sleeping, like finally falling asleep between like 11, like starting at 11. I'm like, okay, it's time. 12, I'm like, ooh, it's midnight. Right. But then either way, my body, like what you said, 7 a.m.
Right. It's like 7 a.m. I'm getting up regardless of what time I went to bed.
Yes, it's good because there is something physically, psychologically about like waking up as the sun is getting up. It's so beautiful.
Yeah. So true.
Yeah.
So true.
Okay, next question. Singing or dancing?
Ooh. See, that's hard for me. Ooh, that's hard. Okay. I'm going to have to go with dancing, honestly.
Wow. Okay.
Because dancing is something like, I'm that type of person where I just move if I hear music. Like, and I don't even have to like think about it. I could be in a retail shop and they have music playing and I don't even realize like I'm dancing. Like, I'm in the store like, I can't help it. So it just comes out. If I hear music, I move.
Yeah. And then I'm assuming then singing comes after because of you moving. So it's like body first, then comes the sound.
Right.
Nice. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But I do both. What about you?
Same actually. Yeah. Although I would have to say that singing is something that I've like recently like reimagined and brought back to my life because of the
Yes.
pandemic. Shh. Just like that. No. Yeah, because of well, I guess I shouldn't say that, but I lost my aunt to COVID this year, and
Oh
the grieving
no.
process. Yeah, the
I'm
grieving
so
process was
sorry.
so. Thank you, appreciate it. So that was really hard. And then even with everything that's going in the world, I'm like I really, I after graduating from dance, I kind of just haven't been dancing as much as I used to,
Hmm.
which I still believe is okay for me because
Yeah.
new chapters,
Yes.
priorities, and so when that happened, I was just like, I would always just sing anyways, but
Hmm.
I didn't realize how healing singing was for me. I'm like, this
Wow.
is so healing. Like
Yeah.
I don't at this point I don't even care how I sound because just like that the action of it, um, the action of it is so like there is something about it that is healing, therapeutic
Yes.
than healing.
Yes. I agree 100%. And music is so powerful. Um,
Yes. Yeah.
there's things about music. I mean, there is actual music therapy, but
Yes. Yeah.
even for me, if I don't always feel like I have the words to say to express what I'm experiencing or what I'm going through. And then sometimes, you know, I feel things so deeply and I just go sit at my piano and I'll start playing something and then
Oh
singing and
yes.
whatever comes out comes out. And
Mm-hmm.
that helps me my processing as well because I also lost someone in 2020. It wasn't
Mm-hmm.
due to COVID, it was due to cancer, but it was so
Oh
fast. It
no.
was
Sorry.
7 weeks. It was like, oh,
Wow. 7.
literally, it
3
was
months.
so fast.
Yeah.
And
Same.
so in that process, a lot of times, you know, just there's so much that you feel. I would just go to my piano and I would just sit there and play until some words would come out. And
Mm.
it helped me in my journey, and yeah, but grief is one of those things that, listen, it's a journey and
Yeah.
some.
Yes, yeah. GRIEF and some.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. But too, I would actually have to say too that this project is also like an extension of like this grieving process.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
just being able to talk and like reconnect with people and like and
Yeah.
being reminded that wow, like I am being reminded of what it feels like to be alive
Hmm.
by our hearts being broken.
Yes,
But
that's
but
real.
but then there's this podcast that I'm listening to, which is called "Don't Keep Your Day Job," and what I appreciate about it is she's also very spiritual in the sense that it can be applied to different denominations,
Yeah.
and what I appreciate about her is like at some point she's talked about how pain is really a what was my point in that? It really is a great reminder of why we're alive, and then also the fact that we are feeling pain, then it really causes us to have to like reach or to have to to like
Yeah.
long for
Yeah.
someone for something
Yeah.
to like
Wow.
look up. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh my gosh, it's so real.
Yeah.
One of the
uh
songs that I wrote like in this like grieving process um really kind of embodies that concept that you're kind of talking about. I was, sitting at my piano and I was like literally just talking to God as I usually
mhm.
would.
Mhm.
And, part of the lyrics I wrote was just like, I don't have any words, but I'm here. Right.
Ooh.
And I know that you're here, you
Ooh.
know, and just like, just talking to God out of that honest place. And because in that sadness, one thing about grief, I tell people there's nothing that can be said to make it easier. There's nothing that, can be done to take that pain away of missing someone that
Mhm.
is no longer a part of this earth. Um, but there's something about connecting to God in that pain that brings about a comfort and a peace that nothing earthly can do. They're like nothing earthly can bring about um that peace. It has to be something outside of me because grief, I can't even I don't have words. Like I said in the song, I don't have words, and sometimes words aren't needed, but there's a connection that happens beyond words that sometimes it's even with the presence of other people, like
Mm-hmm.
someone just sitting with you, and being able to empathize and being
Ah,
able
the
to just,
connection,
you know,
yes. Girl, this is why I've like really been I run all the time anyways, or like power walk really, but
yeah.
I like especially now, like coming into the new year, it's colder and
Mm-hmm.
just kind of like I've really been enjoying people watching more and just knowing that I'm surrounded by physical bodies.
Yeah.
Because in that way you're like even though yeah you may feel like you're alone, but physically you're literally not alone,
Yeah.
which can then
Yeah.
help you. So okay. So my last question for you is favorite what is your favorite scent?
Ooh. Oh. These are good questions. Okay. Um, I absolutely love.
Thank you.
Oh, this is hard. Okay, one of my favorites is eucalyptus and spearmint together. There's yeah, that connection right there just is
Mm-hmm.
therapeutic for me.
Nice. Nice. Thank you. Actually, okay, so I don't know why I didn't mention this, but I should have just mentioned it in the beginning. But Victoria, do you want to share your news about your current
Sure,
single?
I would love to. I would love to. Okay,
Yes.
so my single "Anchored," which I released, gosh, now, 2019, I believe. Yeah,
2019,
I was like,
yeah.
wait, what year was that?
It said on your Spotify.
Thank you.
Spotify. Where's Spotify?
Because
Yes.
the years, I'm like, 2020 was such a long year. I don't know what
It
happened there.
was it was
Like,
a long 3 months.
so I released it 2019, and it's being considered for a Grammy this year, which is super, super exciting and like caught me by surprise because it's the first single I've actually released. And I'm just like, wait, what?
What
Yeah.
I'm just curious. We're probably. I mean, since we're talking about it now, do you know how it happened? Like, do you know?
Honestly, I don't
L-
even know. Like, so I'm with a record label called Mandate Records.
nice.
And so like the ins and out of like the music industry, I don't really know all the details of like how
Yeah.
that works. I'm kind of like, I'm an artist. Um, but the ins and outs of like how things be, or transfer to be considered for something as major as the Grammys, I don't even know how that works. All I do know is that they have some secret society who votes on those things.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. I did. I think I did learn about these things too, like in college. Yeah, there is a secret society. That
Yes.
the people, the panel that actually makes a decision.
Right. So
Yeah.
that's as much as I know about it. So what I just kind of tell myself, clearly it got into the right hands of the right people.
Yes, yep.
That's all I can say.
It was so powerful. It was like all of a sudden
Aw.
Grammys. Yes.
I'm still
Wow.
blown.
Yes, me too. I am so like when I oh okay. So first of all, when I saw your music video,
Uh-huh.
I was like, oh my goodness. I being a fan of always just putting things out in the world, through
Yeah.
different art forms, So seeing that was one thing. And then so like I think like almost a year later or like a good year later or something.
Yeah.
Then when I saw you post that, I was like, oh crap,
Right.
which first of all, I'm not at all surprised. But second, it's like it's so amazing to know that you're like literally connected by brilliance, and it's like oh shoot. Like
Thank
people,
you.
you're welcome. And I seriously mean that people who just literally speak out and lean into their own truth, I think that is it's one of those things that I know is kind of very meta, but at the same time it's like super meta, but at the same time it's like it's through like stuff like these, your recognition, my podcast,
Yeah.
someone's like side hustle, passion business that they love. It's like we are, and the last thing I want to say about this is like before we actually continue, it's like we live in a time now where I mean I'm just so grateful that we can like we are literally able to like monetize our gifts.
Yes, which is
You know.
great. It's
Hmm.
so great. There's the limits of what formerly was believed as the only ways to
Uh huh.
live and to have income. It's that limitation has been broken.
Yes, yeah, we moved forward. Yeah,
Yeah,
this is not the industrial. Well, this is not the industrial period anymore.
right, right.
you know.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so now we are ready to move on to our main part of the interview, my friend. So my first question for you is, who is Victoria?
What a good question. Okay, I won't give you the long answer.
Go ahead. No, go. Oh, wait. Oh wait. Did you say you're going to or you won't?
I wasn't going to unless you want the long answer.
Go. Go.
Okay, so every time I hear that question, I'm reminded of my childhood. Um, my mother was really adamant about raising me in a way that I had to share and declare like daily, who am I? And
Wow.
she was really adamant about that because she didn't want me to go through the world and be defined by other things. She wanted
Ooh.
me to know who I am and to speak it out and to live it out. So ever since I was a little girl, she'd like, tell me who you are. And I'd be like, I'm a mighty
Wow.
woman of God. Like that would be my response. And I would name just various things, but so just kind of that makes me reflect on that memory that I carry with me. But Victoria
Yes.
is a petite powerhouse, as read in the bio. I am a lover. I am someone who I'm a creative. I mean, I can't even get away from that. Every
Hmm.
passion that I have is something creative. I am a Black woman. Okay, let's put that out
Hmm.
there.
Yes.
And I am, I'm just a follower of Jesus who believes that, the gifts and the purpose that he placed within every person is part of a bigger picture, and it's up to us to tap into it and to live it out. And so
Mm.
um, I'm big on encouraging people to be who they're designed to be.
Yes.
And so that's, I guess, the best answer I could give. That Victoria is. I'm also a singer songwriter. These are things that I do. So when
Yes.
I'm asked that question, I typically don't lean into the things that I do because things that I do is not who I am.
Yes, okay. First of all, oh my gosh, you literally just read my mind. First of all,
Yes.
I'm so happy that you literally answered my question the way that
Oh.
it is, because literally every single, not every, but almost every single person that I've like interviewed so far,
Mm-hmm.
well, actually not all of them, but some of them,
Mm-hmm.
some of them have actually answered like who are they, and then some answered what they do.
Uh-huh.
So
Uh-huh.
so when that happens, I'd be like, oh, but yeah, I mean, I'm just super super happy that you caught on that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm that's how I live my life. What I do is not who I am.
Yes.
And so I'm passionate about that as well. So I'm glad
Nice.
that you share that sentiment because I feel like that's really important for people to know, because that
Hmm.
also, we live in a society where people are labeled by so many things, and a lot of people wrestle with their identity and their self-worth and their self-esteem because they've identified themselves by things and
Oh
by what they
yeah.
can do and how they can perform or whatever, but that's not who you are. But people do often define themselves by what they do.
Yes, yeah. Well, okay. Actually, would you mind just finishing? I know I like just kind of interrupted you, but
No, you're
would you mind
good.
just finishing out that thought that you were saying? So you were starting to describe what you do.
Yes. Okay. So I am a singer songwriter. I'm also uh, a book editor. Like I love writing in general, all
Oh,
around the board. I love
are you
writing.
an author?
I haven't produced one of my own books yet. I'm in the process of
Uh,
writing 3
yes.
right now.
Oh my god.
Yes, I'm in the
I
process of
okay.
writing.
I am living vicariously
Oh.
through them.
So, but I have been an editor on a few projects in the last 2 years. So I'm, I have a love for writing and reading, and so that's a gift that I've also been blessed with. So that's that, and I also, what else do I do? Singer songwriter,
dancer.
I should say that I just haven't danced in a while.
Don't tell me since my capstone piece. No, I'm just kidding.
It hasn't been that long, but it's been a while. So I still get invited to do choreography on different things. Actually did a piece for the George Floyd situation with some friends, different dancers across the United States. We did a compilation piece together and did a tribute to George Floyd that was really beautiful, I must say. So
please send me the link. I want to see it.
Okay, I'll send it to you.
Okay.
And so yeah, those are the main things that I do. And then I right now I work with children here in Oklahoma, and just creating, I'm in the process of doing a lot of creating things. I'm also launching my vocal coaching business. Yes. So I'll be launching that by February 1st. So pray for me. Yes,
please. Oh yeah, okay. So just remind me I'll remember, but also just remind me in the end to I want to give you some moment to promote that specifically, amongst many other things, because this is gonna go up on I think the second week of February. So that's perfect.
Yeah. All right. Sounds good. Thanks, Patron.
You're welcome. Okay, so that does lead me to my next question, which is, how did we meet? I know I briefly talked about it, but from your experience, recollection, what do you remember?
Okay, so how did we officially meet? Now I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember our official first encounter.
Me too.
We went to school. We went to school together.
And you're younger too, so I don't think I expect you to if I can't remember.
And I'm I don't remember our actual hey, first time we actually talked to each other. But I remember we would see each other a lot, especially around the dance classrooms. And
I remember now.
You remember?
Yes. Well, not
Feathers?
The first. Was it Feathers? I think this was definitely Foster King. Were you in her modern grade 4 class?
Oh gosh!
When there was only a little bit of people, I think you were.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Wait, I
feel like
that was 2008. That was a while back.
A long time ago.
Yeah, I think if not that, let's just say it is. But if not that, I do remember being in a piece with you with Sandra Foster King.
Yes.
In my junior year, where it was the Black Nativity.
Yeah.
Yes, 2009. I remember that. I haven't remembered it in a while, but then just hearing you say that, I was oh, should I remember that?
That's
ECC.
So yes. Oh my god.
It is so close.
I didn't remember that. Until you brought it up. See, this is what happens when 10 years go by.
Yeah.
But I just remember seeing you around campus, and you just had such a bubbly personality all the time. And so I just remember us connecting. It was through the arts that I know we connected. And then just kind of some of our same friends Nick and we'd be hanging around, and so connected over time just by having encounters at school,
associations. Right.
Which happens, and then we just stayed connected, and I'm so glad that it happened for us.
Thank you. Actually, I think I also just want to take the time to share why I personally handpicked her to be a part of my high school senior dance exhibition piece. That, then it was just, I don't think we were necessarily required, because I think the majors didn't start until your graduating class, right?
Yes.
So, but then my class, it was a class that we got to take, and we had the option to do it. And I was I want, that was the reason why I started to dance, was because I wanted to like I had this vision. I had
Mhm.
this vision of myself, not just performing up there, but like seeing myself, seeing a dance piece myself sometime
Uh-huh.
before I graduated. And this was in seventh grade. Oh shoot!
Wow.
I actually remember the first time I saw you. Like things are coming back. Okay, so I remember the first time I saw you. I was a seventh grader. You were in Les Mis.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you
Oh
were
my
sixth grader, right?
goodness. I was a little sixth grader in Les Mis.
Oh my gosh, that was 2005. So we like went back in time.
Yes.
I was just like sitting down in the audience, and I was still reading like a music major track at
Mhm.
this point. Shout out Tamara Page,
Yes,
you
we
know.
love her.
Yes. So like
I
I
just
just
talked to
remember
her
sitting
yesterday, by
down.
the way.
Oh, you
Sorry.
did?
Yeah,
No, oh
random.
no, you're good. I just I think she commented on my recent skydiving video.
Nice.
I skydived for the first time
How was
on a
that?
whim. On a whim. Okay, first of all, it's not as scary as the pictures. Like when you see it in a video or in a
Uh-huh.
picture. It My experience, and I think even my other, actually a lot of us, because I went with friends,
Hmm.
it wasn't as scary as it really was because it goes by so quick.
Got you.
So I was just like, and then someone is holding you. I think the whole thing lasted only about like an hour, like less than like a minute and a half at the most.
Okay.
But anywho, that was the reason why Paige and I
Uh-huh.
talked. So yeah, so I saw you in Les Mis. Yeah, like a younger. I remember you were like, you guys. This is okay. This is crazy. This was a while back, but y'all had this thing where you guys were like walking forward, like
Uh-huh.
panels, like
Uh-huh.
dun, 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 dun. Or then I
Uh-huh.
think somewhere, I think at some point you guys all walked up together as you guys were
Uh-huh.
like singing and like And I remember seeing you. I was like, who is this short girl in the front? And I was all the way
Little
in the
short
back.
thing.
I was like all the way in the back by the door, by the
Okay.
entrance. So like seeing you, like just imagine like me seeing you like all the way back there and you like really captivating my like getting my
Oh.
attention. I was like, this girl is something. She is fierce. Even though
Oh.
even though that word wasn't a part of my vernacular back then. So
But hey, we get it.
yeah. Okay, so my next question is um please it's actually about your childhood actually.
Okay.
I if you can, please take us through your journey of how Victoria Matthews was like as a child growing up.
Okay, that's a great question. So, I was raised, in a great home. My parents, my two brothers, and we had a fun childhood. I will say we had a very fun childhood. Um, we were always musical family. Everybody in my family's musical. Every single person, and we, love music. We love all that stuff. I mean, when we get together, like even to this day, have family gatherings. Typically, if a song breaks out, it's going to break out in all the harmonies, and it's just going to be this glorious sound that erupts because everybody's so musical. Um, but anyway, grew up in a family where my parents both were in ministry, and my parents are pastors, as you mentioned earlier, and my brother Chauncey, he ended up doing a show in Los Angeles called American Juniors back in the early 2000s that opened up a lot of doors for our family. So we both then got involved in the entertainment business. So he pursued singing and has his whole life.
Mm.
Me, I started with, child print work, modeling, and then acting. And
Oh, what
yeah, so
age? What age was this? I'm curious. Do you
8
remember?
I started at
8.
8 years old. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yes. And so did that, and kind of kept that course moving forward for quite some time,
Hmm.
which has afforded me amazing opportunities with some amazing people.
Yeah.
I've done some amazing shows, and just it's been a great journey. But I've always been passionate about my education, and
Mm.
at some point in my early teens, I knew the arts would always be there.
Hmm.
Um, and I really wanted to accomplish some things with my education. So I kind of slowed down on the acting scene and the entertainment scene because I had educational goals that I really wanted to reach.
Yes.
And so funny thing is, my educational journey didn't go as I planned either.
Oh, is this like is this like towards college, or is this like when you got to SCBA?
This is okay. I kind of jumped ahead. This is now moving
Oh,
towards
no,
college,
good.
but
Okay, no worries.
While I was in SCPA is when I kind of had
Got
this,
it. Oh, okay.
decision where I was like, okay,
Ooh.
how much energy do I want to put into entertainment? How much energy do I want to put into my education? And because there was a period of time where I was so busy in LA and doing shows that I only went to school twice a week, but I had contracts with my teachers. So
wait, at SCBA or in college?
Yeah, at SCPA.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
okay.
There was a period of time in middle school.
Okay, showbiz.
You do what you gotta do, you know?
Yeah.
So just had contracts where, okay, I went to school twice a week, and the rest of the week I was in Los Angeles because I was busy in the entertainment business, recording, doing shows, and things like that. So then when I got to high school, I still would do things at the school, but I kind of pulled back from the entertainment scene.
I could see. I could see why.
Yeah. Because I'm like, my goals are like, look, I love the entertainment business. It'll always be here, but I really want to accomplish some goals. I want to get, I want to get into a great university, and I want to get my degrees and all of those things, which I, was able to. I went to Point Loma Nazarene University first, which I studied classical voice and psychology. Then I took a long break, which was purposeful, though.
Yes.
We don't always understand it at the time. We see later how it worked out for our good. Know?
Those seasons.
Yeah. So looking back, I see how it was a blessing because it led me to something even better, which I finished my degree at Oral Roberts University, and now I'm pursuing my master's there. And it was all intentional because then in this break period, my gifts were just, it was a time where I was able to hone in on my giftings and start this path that we now see some of the manifestation of the work that's been going on behind the scenes of me writing and recording and now releasing music. And
your first single, Amy, bang, bada boom, just like
which
that.
Is crazy, my first single being considered for a Grammy, like this is
Grammys. I'm so sorry, I said Emmys again. I'm sorry.
They rhyme.
Emmys, Grammys.
They rhyme.
Grammys. There you go. Yeah. Yes.
And and then even some things that people don't see yet, but I've been doing a lot of co-writing with other people, and some amazing things are going to be released this year. So that's a long-winded answer to your question.
No, you're good. What was the question? Let me look.
About like my childhood and my journey.
you literally like asked all my questions. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm sorry. If you don't stop me, I'll just keep going.
No, just kidding. No, I actually love that. And actually my last week's, the one before you, Cassandra, she was like that too. I was just like, this is so beautiful. And then I'm like, oh shoot.
Look, feel free to stop me at any time, okay?
Oh no, you're good. Actually, that's good because then you're really able to give me some context on where I could like nitpick and actually then kind of like ask for more deeper. Okay, so first, my first question is, so you were a young kid and you already had this like you were living that professional child, actor, actress life. Do you remember what were some of your like experiences in that, like memories and stuff from doing that?
Yeah, I have some really fond memories. Wow. I'll never forget when I got my first all-star cast show that I was casted in. So, in the entertainment business, you go on a lot of auditions, let's just say. You go on tons of auditions. And, you get selected for a few. And you don't always know all the details of what you're being,
Oh,
auditioning
yes.
for.
Yeah.
They might give you the name of the show, they give you this piece of the script that you need to audition with, and that's pretty much all you know.
Yes, yeah.
So I'll never forget getting a call that I was cast in Fences by August Wilson.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, cool, this is exciting, And then they shared who the cast was, and my mind was blown. So the cast was Lawrence Fishburne, Angela Bassett.
Angela Bassett?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
Shit.
Wendell Pierce, Orlando Jones, Kadeem Hardison, and then Brian Clark. So Brian Clark and I were the only non-stars in the show. And the rest was the all-star cast. And I was
were you already a SAG eligible, or was that
at that time?
Okay. I'm just curious. Okay.
I became SAG eligible after that one.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. And but it was just crazy. It was like, Victoria, am on stage with these people? I couldn't. I was just really surprised. And they were the most amazing people. I mean, those 3 months that we spent together doing that show was such a highlight. Just the time that we spent together, they were so kind, so generous, so loving, so supportive, so encouraging.
Wow. I feel it. I feel it through you right now.
I literally learned so much from them, and I will forever cherish that time with learning from, because for me it was such a, I'm watching these people who are amazing in their craft, who have been doing this for years, and I got to glean from them every day, except Mondays. We didn't go to the theater on Mondays. But every day, just gleaning from these incredible individuals that I'm just so grateful for that.
Okay, so what else? I am curious. What else?
Let's see. Also, while my brother was doing American Juniors, just making so many friends with other kids in the industry. I think that was really fun.
Yes, before social media.
Right,
before
right.
Social media.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
actually making friends.
Making friends in the flesh.
Yes, in person, yeah.
And it was so much fun, just, with other kids my age, and all of us living the same life, pretty much. We're in entertainment, and even though I wasn't in that specific show, some of the other kids and I were with the same agency. And so
what was your agency? I think you mentioned it earlier.
It was
then
Acme/Tag agency.
Okay.
In Los Angeles, California. And so, just being able to hang around other people who are doing the same thing. And, all of us just kind of living our best lives as kids. It's like, oh, this is so much fun. Going to Disneyland and house party, pool party at this person's house, and, all that fun stuff. It was just fun. Just really fun. Yeah, I think, I don't know, living your best kid life. Like, I have so many fond memories, but I just think about so many, pretty much every show I've been a part of, everything that I've done, the people really make it an enjoyable experience.
Yeah. And then, okay. Well, first of all, thank you for sharing that. And then second, okay, so what really stuck out in that, what you were sharing earlier, was when you then decided to leave that kind of slowly but surely kind of leave that world behind.
Yeah.
As a young kid, I'm curious, what were your thoughts on that? You were like, oh shoot. Like I am doing what a lot of people actually go to school for, work so hard for. It almost feels like you got to experience that as a kid, like first versus like later in the life.
That's true.
So I'm just curious, what were some of your thoughts and sentiments with like, okay, I have to make a decision, and
yeah, good question. So for me, I think I've just always had a passion for education. I mean, to this day, even with what I'm doing, with the way, my singing, songwriting, and everything is going, the way my life is moving right now, I still have a passion for education. I still have a passion to one of my goals is to be a professor in a university. Like, I still have very
Nice.
regular yet amazing goals,
Yes.
and that part of me never died, you know, at a
Yes.
young
Purpose.
age. Right. It's purpose. And
It's one of your purposes. Yeah.
exactly. So I'm a firm believer that you know, what you're called to do will never leave you. Like, it's always going to be a burning
Mm.
desire. And so for me as a kid, I knew then, like I told you, my mom, tell me who you are, you know, what are you called to
Mm.
do? And I knew from a young age, like, this was part of my purpose, my life destiny. So though I know I'm gifted in these things, that's not the only thing I'm called to. It's an
Mhm.
avenue that I get to, you know, share my light and encourage the world. But there's other avenues that
Mm.
some people may think that the entertainment world is the glamorous life. But
Oh
for me,
no.
I'm a
Mm-mm.
very much so I love the regular day-to-day interactions with people, you know,
Wow.
inspiring young minds and things like that. Like, that's a
Mm.
great passion for me. So as a kid, I knew the entertainment business would always be there. If I have the gifts
Yes.
and I continue to keep these gifts, you know,
Mm.
up to a certain skill, I will always have an opportunity to do things in the entertainment world. I could always come back to it if I wanted to, but I knew that for my educational and career goals, as far as like
Mm.
the non-entertainment things, there's
Yeah.
kind of a time frame where it's best to pursue those things. So I knew,
Yes. Yeah.
focus on school so that I can get these things done. And then that's kind of what I
Mm.
was thinking. I was like, I always have the entertainment, so let's do this right
Yes.
now.
Follow-up question. How old are you now?
27.
27.
Yeah.
27. I thought you were like 18 or something.
Well, thank you. You know, I would love
I
to,
didn't I didn't you said you're nine. I didn't realize we were only a year apart from each other.
yeah,
I've always thought you were like at least a couple of years younger than me. It's
yeah.
crazy.
27. And it's funny though, because when I work with kids out here in Oklahoma, sometimes I'll go into schools and the kids are like, oh, what grade are you in? I'm like, I'm actually your teacher for the day.
That's funny.
It's so funny. They're like, you're my
That,
teacher? I am.
that is so cute. Actually, going back to my last week's guest, Cassandra Pimentel. She's okay. She's older than the both of us. She's 29, but
Okay.
she literally looks younger than both of us combined. She has
I
like
believe
baby
it.
face. I'm like, that was one of the things. Like that was one of her answers when I asked her about 5 facts. Like the
Got you.
first 5 facts, she was like, "Yeah, people don't know that I'm actually a lot older than I look." I'm like, I mean, either way, it's not at all. I mean, I don't necessarily believe in like ageist, kind of like thinkings,
Right.
but but the way okay, in my personal thoughts, I just feel like how you look, what you decide to look like, and how you look like, and how you come off as has a lot to do with how you feel about yourself.
Absolutely. That's so true. That's so true.
And how you decide to love yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and of course, it
Take
doesn't
care
come
of
with a number.
yourself. Right.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
always tell people, I'm like, you're as young as you feel. Okay.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So my follow-up question I have like follow-up on follow-up. So
No worries. I'm here
so
for it.
you thank you. So you definitely seem like someone who has, for the most part, has always had their head strong and their pursuits and ambitions,
Mm-hmm.
dreams in life. Um, have you ever had any moments of doubt and weaknesses that kind of just left you on the ground, just kind of like
Oh,
how
yes.
how do I first of all, how do I overcome this, and
Mm-hmm.
second, like how were you able to overcome those and get up?
That's a great question. And I have
Thank
so
you.
many experiences like that, you know. I think look, keep on living. You know, I tell people to like look, keep on living and you'll walk through some stuff, right?
Mhm.
Um, yes. So though I've always kind of had purpose in mind,
Mhm.
and these goals in mind, I've had multiple seasons where I needed help picking myself up from the ground. Really, I mean, this maybe within the last 2 years, it's been an awesome like recovery period for my life. But I would say 2017 until about 2019, early 2019, was one of the roughest periods of my life. I literally, like how you said, how are you able to pick yourself up off the ground? It took multiple avenues to pick me up off the ground. I was so deeply struggling mentally, mental health wise. I mean, and it came on about by a number of things. One was grief. Grief was probably the biggest thing that sent me in a spiral.
Yes, spiral. That is real. The spiral is real.
Real.
Yeah.
I lost someone that I didn't think I could live without. And
that's beautiful. That is beautiful, actually. You just said didn't think you could live without, because from that context, I could tell this is someone that you couldn't live without.
Right. And I wasn't prepared to live without. You know, I felt like I needed them in my life because they had been such a rock for me and a safe place. And so anyway, long story short, the spiral started with grief. And then from grief, I fell into a depression. And I already, most of my life, had battled with anxiety. I was just really good about managing it. But with grief, my anxiety, I don't even know how to describe how crazy it took off. Got so bad to the point where, and people don't realize, mental health can impact your physical health as well. And
so, yes, very, very, super.
All of a sudden, out of the blue, for months, I was having all kinds of random illnesses. I'm back and forth to different doctors and specialists, and you know, couldn't figure out what was wrong with me, but my body was not functioning right. Like, in so many areas. And so one doctor says this, one doctor says it's that, one doctor says it's this, and it literally my life felt like it was spiraling. And then, you know, it was so crazy to the extent where like for 9 months, probably, I think about 9 months, like, it was, people had to make me eat food. Like, it was just a spiral. And finally, what I'm thankful for, 2 really good friends of mine became like angels in my life to help me lift up from that place. One of my good friends, I remember her suggesting, she was like, you know, have you thought about talking to a professional? You know, and in my mind, I was like, what? Nothing's wrong with me. And I was in denial. Like, I didn't even recognize what was happening to me. Yes. And I didn't even recognize what was happening to me. Because when you're in it,
honestly, it's hard to see. It's hard to see the outside. Oh, yeah, it's like so you're just so in it. Yes, yeah.
It's so hard. I couldn't see really what was happening to me. All my mind, literally, in this period of time, I felt like just moment to moment, I'm just trying to maintain. Like, moment to moment, I'm just trying to get through the day. Moment to moment, I'm just trying to survive. And so one friend was like, she was just suggesting and kind of like, you know, maybe you might want to, you know, reach out to talk to someone. And then another friend around the same time period was like, one day she just like picked me up. She's like, I'm going to pick you up. And she's like, she's like, I want to talk to you. Anyway, long story short, we talked, and she was basically like pointing out to me, she was like, I see you, and I just want to help you get to the point where you're okay, you know? And anyway, long story short, so with these friends who encouraged me, then I sought to see a therapist and went through 6 months of therapy with an amazing therapist. When I tell you, I'm so grateful for this therapist. So I believe in doing whatever it takes, you know, because even though I'm from a faith-filled background, prayer itself sometimes isn't enough. We have to take
Yeah,
action.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Gotta take worldly actions.
Come on, take these actions. God created people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they are there serving their own gifts to help people. It's just a matter of us saying yes to them.
Exactly. So I had to fight that process into my life and say, okay, I need help. And so 6 months with this therapist was life changing for me. Literally, my life changed so much.
Wow.
And then, so in that period, like my, therapist and then my friends and then me being honest with myself and being able to come back to focus of like, okay, I have purpose. How do I achieve these goals?
Who are you?
Okay.
That question, who are you?
Right? Because I lost sight of who I was because that was veiled by pain,
Oh, yeah.
And so working through that pain and then reminding myself who I am and my purpose, and then just going after those goals. I believe this is one thing I have to say about challenges. I believe challenges are never just designed to destroy us. I believe that challenges create opportunities that allow us to push past our limitations, to grow, to launch ourselves forward. But it's up to us, depending on how we respond to the challenge. We can either be hindered or we can be propelled forward, And challenges just awaken us to what's in us. Like what is in you comes out when you're challenged. And so for me, though it looked like a season where I was being destroyed, so much good came out of it when I decided to face these challenges I was dealing with, right? And then take ownership of my life again.
Yes, take responsibility.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And then be proactive about these things. Like having battled with, mental illness and, depression and anxiety for various periods of my life.
Yeah.
Then though I've overcome it, I know that I have to be proactive, with my life so that I don't fall back into the same patterns again.
In sustaining and it's the aftercare.
Exactly.
Or I don't know. Yeah. Okay, actually, this is not part of the question, but then for people that are tuning in, either on YouTube, hi everyone, or listening on Spotify, girl, we are on Spotify.
Okay, go ahead. You better go ahead, Adrian.
Thank you. Would you mind sharing some of those self-love, self-care routine that you either maybe started doing then or maybe have like started to do now because of that chapter season of your life?
Like that long, like 2-year chapter. Lord have mercy.
That sounds familiar too. So yeah.
So yes, so I believe self-care is a whole, like you have to take a holistic approach where it's spirit, soul, and body. And for me, I'll start with body because body impacts your soul, your mind, will, and emotions are impacted by your body. Yeah. And so one thing that I do is I'm really adamant about physical movement. I'm not saying
yes, ma'am. After this, I'm gonna go for my evening walk.
Yes.
To celebrate all my hard work today. Get some fresh air.
You deserve it.
Yes. Thank you.
You deserve it. So I'm adamant about physical, movement. It doesn't have to be always like some rigorous, gym workout or something.
Booty bumping, Yeah.
Hey, I love a good dance workout. Okay. Especially like I'll go on YouTube and like Afro, they have like the Afro beats workouts, and it's just like popping it, shaking it. I'm all for it. Anyway.
Yes.
So physical movement because that impacts the hormones in our body, our brains, and then with that also a healthy diet. Now I still have to work on this one, not in like healthy foods because I've always been a healthy eater. But I have to remind myself to eat. Like, that's my struggle. Remind myself, like, hey, it's 4 p.m. You didn't eat today, So just eating regular, fueling my body. And then with that, then soul-wise, like, I do just a check-in with myself. Like, okay, what are you thinking? What are you feeling? and addressing those things, not leaving them just kind of hanging out
unaddressed.
Right. Because for me, that's how I ended up in the downward spiral that I went in for those 2 years, is because I just really wasn't trying to address any of it. I was just like, oh, ignore it, act like it's not there. That doesn't work.
That does not work.
So just addressing those things, and then, trying to keep my heart clear, because for me, that your heart is like the seat of your, like, that's the core of who you are, core of your life. And so for me, trying to keep my heart clear, like,
yes,
recognizing, okay, something's bothering me, okay, bringing those things up, walking through it, reaching out to a therapist, having accountability people that I can be honest with and share with, who will be honest with me as well.
Yes,
that's a part of my soul care. And then spiritually,
soul care.
Yes. Then spiritually, for me, everything is out of whack if I don't feel aligned with God. And so for me, remaining connected with God is probably the most important thing of my self-care, because everything kind of trickles from that for me. There's so much peace and joy and strength that I have when I am connected with God. And, and that doesn't mean, and some people think, oh, well, I don't go to church. Church is not connected with God. God is very personal. And so
yes,
for me, and actually I haven't been to church since March of 2020 because COVID. But
more or less same, yeah. online.
Right, online church. But even with that, like, I look for God in everything in my life. And so for me, just maintaining is what I'm trying to say, maintaining that connection with God, being spiritually aligned, paying attention to my mind, will, and emotions, and being honest in all of these areas, and then being physically active, and then resting. That's what I had to learn to as well. Learn to do. I had to learn to rest. Okay.
Yeah.
Can't burn the candle at 2 sticks and expect to still be thriving, honey.
Yeah.
So those are big parts of my self-care. And quiet time, because I'm an introvert, so I thrive off of that alone time. So I make sure I have time to just be by myself in quiet, because that's how I recharge.
Nice. Thank you. First of all, I just want to say thank you for sharing what you just shared, because for me, personally speaking, I needed to hear that. Just kind of having gone through like similar experiences of helplessness.
Yeah.
It's hard, and sometimes there are days where you feel like, I don't know how I'm gonna get up.
Right.
But somehow you just do it and you overcome it. And then there's some days where it's like, I can't, and being surrounded by people and not at all to like pinpoint anything, but it's like being surrounded by people that may not understand that can help. It's like,
oh yes.
I bet, yeah, so it's just like, well, let me fix my one time.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's real. The struggle, like you were saying, there were many days where I could not get up out of my bed, and I didn't even understand it half the time, but, and the part of like, others around may not understand it. And knowing that sometimes you feel like you're just in it by yourself, and like you're just walking this journey alone. But the beautiful thing is that we're never alone, we're never alone. But sometimes it can feel like it.
Yeah.
I used to be very afraid to share these details of my life.
Wow.
I used to feel so ashamed.
And thank you. And first of all, thank you. I mean, even more of a thank you for trusting me and trusting yourself to share, this
thank you.
testimony of surviving.
Right. You created a safe space, and when I broke free of shame, because I used to just feel ashamed.
Mm-hmm.
I felt, as if like, I'm this like spiritually strong person, like this shouldn't be my battle. But regardless, it was my battle, it was my cross to bear, and
yes,
God allowed me to overcome it. And so now I can share my story to help others to know that it's okay, it happens, and that there is hope. Like, it's one of the things that I feel like is important to share is that in sometimes a very depressed state, and some people, lean to suicidal. I've been there. I'm going to share it. I've been there in that headspace. And I thank God that he didn't let me, pursue that route. But one of the lies that we kind of believe in those
self-limiting beliefs. Yeah.
Right. And we believe like, okay, especially for those who maybe, are in positions where they maybe battle with suicidal ideations.
The battle is so deep.
Yeah.
It's so deep.
And one of the lies that permeates in our minds can be, I can't go on living. Like, whatever I'm experiencing is just too much and I can't go on living. But I feel like the enemy of our souls wants us to end it there. But I believe that the truth is I can't go on living like this. That like this is important, because that means there's hope for something else to happen. There's change. And if I can see, okay, I can't go on living like this, but there's something that can change.
It's like this, not this life, this moment, this season, this feeling.
Right.
Not this life.
Right.
Yeah.
And so being able to, for me, walking through that path and see that, like, okay, my mind will deceive me into thinking like this is it, but there is something that there's hope. There is hope, and there's change, and dark seasons and trials don't last forever. Look, 2020 was a long year, but
and we survived it. You know, and the fact that we're having this conversation in 2021 is just, I think it's just really telling of how strong we are.
Yes.
Anyone that's for everyone. Also, those that are tuning in, how strong y'all are.
Yes.
Because the fact that you're listening to this, you've made it this far, it means that you are being called. There's something in you that's being called to listen to this message. And that we will definitely overcome this. And there are better days ahead.
Yes. Preach, Adrian.
Thank you. Victoria, I have a couple more questions, like 2 more questions. Is it okay? Okay. So one is a follow-up on this one, and then the last one is I just want to talk about your music, your single, your process into creating that. But my follow-up question on this one is, okay, so you talked about where you came from, and then you talked about your routine and actually what you did. I'm not sure if this question is going to make sense, but no, it does. Just kidding. Okay. What advice would you give to someone that is very much in that in that chapter season of their lives, and they really feel like, how am I going to overcome this? How am I going to go on? Like, is it even possible? Like, what advice would you or can you give to those who are experiencing these chapters?
That's a great question. One piece of advice that I would give is to be kind to yourself, right?
Yes.
Living in a world where sometimes we tend to struggle being kind to our own selves, And so my one piece of advice, I would say, be kind to yourself, and know that even when you feel like you can't make it, you can. Just like working out, there's periods in your workouts where you're like,
I feel like I'm about to pass out.
I can't do it, But the reality is, you can. Like, your physical body can go on, but though you feel tired, though you feel weary,
wavered,
your body has the ability to keep going. And a lot of times it's the mind over matter thing. Like, my legs are dying. It's like, no, they burn, but they are still going to
yes, differentiate. Let's be honest. Let's differentiate the struggles right there. They burn.
Your legs aren't dying. They're not. You
Your
know?
bones aren't gonna break, it's your muscles
Nope.
that's becoming stronger. That's
Exactly.
why you can't move
Exactly.
it.
So this that you're in, this situation that you're going through, believe it or not, is going to make you stronger.
Mm,
And we learn every experience that we go through. We learn something, whether even if the experience is hard, there's something that we learn and we gain from it.
mhm,
My next piece of advice would be to lean
mhm.
into those who love you.
Ooh.
Lean into those who love you, because a lot of times when we're battling, we have a tendency to isolate.
Yes.
But we weren't created to live isolated. We were created for community. We were created for
Yes.
relationship.
Sense of belonging, to be loved.
Yes. So lean into those people who love you, and trust that the love that people have for you uh, is real, and it's safe, and that, and this is my experience, but the people that love you sometimes are the ones who are strength when you're weak. And
Hmm.
so just leaning into them and being honest and authentic, so that others can be a support to you, because if we hide and we mask things, people may not know, and so they don't know how to
Yes.
support us. But
Yes. Oh my
when we're
goodness.
honest and we're transparent, those who love us will help and support us in our journey. And then I always say, if you can, reach out for professional help.
Mm.
There are hotlines, and there are there's online therapy, there's so many things.
Yes, there is. Yeah, especially now in 2020,
Right.
so much access to. Oh, the sunset here is beautiful.
Oh,
The sunset here in San Diego.
with my
No, no, but
sunset
yeah,
hours ago.
yeah, aren't you 2 hours behind or
Yeah, I'm two
ahead?
hours ahead. Uh-huh.
Okay. Yeah,
But yeah, so reach
yeah.
out to professional help, because that's important. And I will say this as well, having been a psychology major, having been through therapy with different therapists, sometimes the first one you find may not be the best fit for you. Don't let
Oh
that
yeah.
turn you off
It's
from
like it's
finding
like
someone else.
dating. Like I actually am good friends with like several people who are in the mental health field. The irony in that
Yes.
one of them has said it's like sorry, I just let me just fix my line one more time. It's like dating. You just
Right.
don't stop with one person. You just keep shopping around and see what works for you.
Yes. So
Yeah.
yes, that's a piece of advice. Don't give up. If the first one doesn't work, find somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Hi. So, I'm so happy. And we're not even done yet. We're actually about to go to the final leg of the interview. Okay, so as we go to the last leg, main body of this interview, now that we've really I mean, I actually didn't know that this interview would go this way, this chat, having talked about your pain and where that came from and how you were able to overcome. So
Yeah.
now my final question for you is, then how have you been able to channel that into your song making?
Yeah.
I'm curious, please share about your latest single, Anchored, which also has
Listen.
been recently nominated for a Grammy Award. Grammy Award, okay? My friend over here. Just saying.
Yes. Oh man. Well, honestly, it's a perfect segue, because I wrote
Oh yeah.
Anchored in that time.
Ah!
So
Oh, word.
literally,
Yes.
I wrote
Beautiful.
Anchored in that time, in that period
Mm.
of struggle. Okay. Um,
Wow.
I literally that song, sometimes, I will always say, creativity is given by God. Like, I just
Yeah, yes. Hmm.
wholeheartedly
I,
believe
I I
that.
believe that it's not given to you by nothing, by
Right.
coincidence.
Right.
you know.
And so I was walking down a set of stairs, because at this time, when I was already in my spiral place, I
Mhm.
was still, um, trying to shine my light, with the world, and being a supportive, friend, and supportive, you know, just individual, encouraging people. And anyway, in this time, a young lady that I love dearly was going through her own mental health crisis, and um, she ended up attempting to take her own life. And so which landed her hospitalized. And I had received a call because she was with a friend. When they found her, she was anyway with a friend, and they called me because her family was out of town when this happened. And so, long story short, I was back and forth to the hospital to be a support for her. And
Yeah.
I remember one day just walking down my stairs, like I'd gone home to take a shower to return back to the hospital to be with her. And I was walking down the stairs and I was just like talking to God. I was like, God, like I could be really destroyed by what's happening right now. Like I could be distraught. I could just be like emotionally, mentally, physically just devastated by all the things going on, because that situation itself was a heavy one. But I was also going through my own.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
So
the duality of
Right. And so I was like, I could be just done by all of this, or I cannot. And I remember just like walking down the stairs and these words came to me, like literally the song words came to me, that the truth of your love ruins lies and fear.
She gave us a sample. I was gonna ask her, but the fact that she did it, thank you. Wait, hold on. Let me just. There you go. Okay, my lighting. Oh, that's better. Okay.
And then the next line: when I feel far away, I know you are here. And those words they came out of me, and I was like, huh. Okay, yes, and I'm walking downstairs in the car, and then I just began to sing, "You are my peace, my strength indeed. I'm anchored with hope in you." And these words just came out of me, and I was like, "This is a song,
Victoria,
And,
sorry, I'm curious. I'm sure. I don't know what the answer is, but do people know about this? Do people know the story behind Anchor? What you just told me?
Not really, actually.
Not really. Is this? Oh my goodness! Are you is this a tell-all interview? No, I'm just kidding. This is. Oh my gosh!
I didn't plan it.
Feeling. I know. No, me too. Okay, before we continue, my initial setup for you, I was just gonna ask you like how you were able to pursue your professional goals. That was just like really. And then this conversation took a turn when I asked you the first question. Who are you? You were like,
I'll just take it as, hey, clearly I feel like whenever things like that happen, it's just meant to happen.
It's beautiful, and I know I'm not, trust me, I'm not mad. I'm like that's why at some point I was like, okay, I have follow-up questions because it's.
Oh, I love it.
But yes, but okay, the reason why I asked that is because it has been a while since I've seen your music video and heard the song, but like hearing like what you just shared, and then like when you sang those words, I was like, oh my gosh. Not to say that people necessarily need to know 100% behind it, but it's just like it really, I feel like it really makes the biggest difference to know why, like where that came from, and especially now it's 2021, know, and you wrote this in 2019, not knowing what was going to happen a year later,
right.
So Victoria, content idea for you. For song.
Yes. And I recorded a song story video, but I haven't released it yet.
Oh shoot.
But it's okay. The story's consistent, so if anybody asks me, I'll tell them the same story because it's just what happened and how I wrote the song. And because I firmly believe in the power of our words, like, and even though chaos was happening all around me in my life, there was so much tragedy and heartache and brokenness that was present. I knew that there's another reality that I can live in that is supernatural, that because I firmly believe in the reality of God. I firmly believe that I have access to peace. I have access to strength. I have access to joy. That I can live in, even with the experiences of life that are happening around me. And so as I began to sing these words, those things I was thinking about that peace, about that rest, about that strength, became a reality for me, that somehow everything I was facing was no longer taking me down, but I was being strengthened in this process. And
Mm,
I I can only attribute that to being a supernatural experience where prior to that moment and prior to me just kind of believing these truths that were coming out of my mouth, it could have looked very different. I could have been, continued to spiral. But something happened as these words came out of me where I began to look up, you know? I
wow.
began to look up. I began to see um, that there's hope, and that God is with me even in this. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
and though everyone listening may not be a, a believer in God, but I believe God is everywhere, and if you look for him, you'll
Mm,
find him.
yeah.
And one of my biggest encouragements with writing Anchored is a scripture that I find a lot of encouragement in. It's in Isaiah chapter 41, 43, 40. I always mix up if it's 43 or 41. But anyway, it
Mm,
says that when you walk through the waters, you will not be overtaken. And when you walk through the fires, you will not be burned. It doesn't
mm,
say that these hard things won't happen. It doesn't say that you won't experience these difficulties in life, these, seasons that feel like a flood, these seasons that feel like fiery. But it says that when they won't overtake you
mm.
because I am with you. And
Whew.
so that is what kind of I took as I continued to write the song Anchored. And I wrote it kind of with the hope that others would be encouraged to know, these things that I experienced that strengthened me in my darkest season, that I was able to find hope, which anchors me, like that keeps me steady, you know.
Oof.
And I wanted other people to experience the same.
Wow, Victoria, Victoria, Victoria. Oh my goodness.
I love
I
you.
mean, me too. I love you too. I've always known that nothing is ever by coincidence. Nothing
Yeah.
is ever, nothing is ever by accident. It's just
Right.
like the fact that we're having this conversation
Yeah.
is like it was laid out to be. It's meant to be, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm super thankful. I'm super thankful, and I honestly would love to keep on talking, and I know we could go on and on and
Right.
on.
We probably could.
Yeah, especially after like 10 years of like not having seen each other.
Right.
But I just also wanted to let you know that I've always been proud of you. I've always been a supporter. You already knew that.
I
You
knew
already know
that.
that.
Yes.
And but also too, I'm super super thankful for your trust, like literally trusting in me to share these, parts of your life that apparently you have not been able to really share yet so much.
Yeah. Yeah.
So really really I'm super thankful, and I think moments like these is really what I feel like is the true meaning of my show, is to
Yeah.
give, it's not just to give a platform for people like yourself to be seen and to be heard, but also for those like myself tuning in and witnessing to be like, to be moved by these messages of, you know whatever they wish to share. And
Mm.
I'm speechless. I'm like, oh goodness.
Oh, thank you, Adrian. I really appreciate just this time in the platform and just what you're doing. This conversation, like you said, like we didn't know it was gonna go this direction.
I know, me
but
too, right? Yep. Not
but
at all.
I'm just so thankful, and what you're doing is so necessary. So I'm cheering you on, and I'm so excited, about all the things that you're doing and that you're going to do, and the lives that are going to be inspired by this Soul Supremacy podcast. Okay.
Yes.
I just love what you do, and I'm supporting you, always have, always will, and cheering you on as well as you pursue those passions that you have within you, because your piece of the puzzle is needed in this world.
Thank you. Oh,
Yes.
see, I'm gonna take a slice of this and send it to my family's group text message. Y'all heard
Oh.
that? Just saying. No, just kidding.
Look, do whatever you feel.
Victoria, thank you. Victoria, okay, so I do have one more. I do have the ending question.
Okay.
Okay, okay. Um, actually, I didn't think of this one yet, but according to what we talked about, uh, what legacy does Victoria Matthews want to leave behind?
Ooh, that is a really good question. I will say, ultimately, I want to leave a legacy of love.
Mm.
That Victoria loved everyone that she encountered. That, and
Oh,
through that love, that people were just inspired to then also love others. Like, that is something that I think, if I could leave anything in this world, that I loved, and that love inspired other people to love. And that's probably, in the nutshell, what I would say my legacy,
yes.
um, what I would like it to be.
And also, if I may add, through the works, through your art, through the gifts that you're sharing,
Yes.
that
Yes.
that is, I feel like on my end, that's how you're doing it.
Yeah,
You know, you're
absolutely.
giving it back. Yeah,
I
yeah,
agree. And sharing that through all these artistic forms, and even my just interpersonal connections with people, you know.
yes,
Um, but in everything that I do, even things that I post and social media, and
yes.
I always post everything with a purpose, and my
Hmm.
aim is to inspire, and inform and encourage people and love. That's it.
Yay! Victoria, we made it to the end of our episode. Oh
We
my
did it.
goodness.
We did it. We did it.
We are at exactly an hour and 38, which surprisingly, like a lot of my episodes so far has like averaged out that long.
Because you're
Like
good
just
at this. Like,
oh,
it
thank
just
you.
makes
Or
you just want to talk.
thank you so much, my friend. Okay, so where can people find you? Where can people know more about you? And please share us about any exciting upcoming projects that you are working on.
Sure. So you can find me. My website is victoriaglobal.org, as Adrian mentioned earlier. And on social media, I'm on Instagram and Facebook. I'm not on Twitter. I never got the hang of that, so we're just going to leave it. But
You're good.
on Instagram and on Facebook at Victoria X, as in xylophone, Matthews. And you can go on YouTube too and type in my name, and you'll see things. And then, what did you ask me? Oh gosh.
Oh, projects.
Yes.
And then also please promote Anchor for people to listen to it.
Yes. So I'll start with Anchored. So Anchored is the single that is out there that's being considered for a Grammy for Best CCM Song and Performance. And you can get it on any digital platform. All the ones that exist, you will find Anchored on all of those. And if you want a hard copy, which people don't really like hard copies, but if you
Yeah.
do, go to my website and you can order a hard copy and I will have it sent to you. And then other projects that I'm working on. So I'm working on actually Anchored. I'm doing a EP. It's called Anchored the World Edition, and I basically am having Anchored in multiple languages. And so I've partnered with different people
Wow.
from different parts of the world to recreate Anchored in different languages, and it's been an exciting process. And then also I'm working on then an album that will have many other songs on there. I'm also
Yay.
working on some books and a lot of other things. So
Is
there's a
this
lot happening.
would that be your first album?
Yes, it will. Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, Victoria, I want to work with you. whatever,
Well, you know what? We
whatever,
will
what,
talk.
yes, whatever facet you need me because
I would love
I
to.
am being called in general to like just pursue my best life. And the fact that
Yes.
we had this conversation, I'm like, Victoria, whatever you need me, I will help you.
I love that. Yeah, we will connect because
Yes.
we definitely need to.
Yeah.
I would love to work with you.
Yay. Thank you. Y'all, I love you too. Oh my gosh. Okay, so this is literally the end of the episode. So um once again, thank you so much for watching tonight's episode of Soul Supremacy, episode 7, featuring Miss Victoria Matthews.
That's me.
Thank you. Thank you so much again. And please comment down below if you're watching this on YouTube. please let us know how like what are your takeaways from this episode, because we really, really would love to hear from you.
Yeah.
And also, please don't forget to show tons of love to Victoria for being on this episode and the amazing work that she's doing. And lastly, thank you so much again. And we will see you next Friday, 7 p.m., for the next episode of Soul Supremacy, where we talk about all things unapologetic, all things passion, and in pursuit. Ah. Thank you so much, my love.
Thank you.
This podcast show is a product of Studio Penguino. For more information about advertising, please visit www.adrianpenguino.com.